Well, hello, all you lovely degenerates out there. How are we doing? We have a core, I think. Yeah, happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. In the US and abroad, well, you know, I guess it is just a US thing, but hey. So, hey, what's going on, No Eyes? So, we may have it. We may have it. My worry initially was, how are you going to quickly make these things, these alchemical concoctions, whatever you can do, and use them in a way to where it's still going to be like applicable during combat. Ooh, I just realized that music might be a little bit loud. And a little bit, yeah, sure, we'll go with that. So the worry was that they weren't really going to have anything that they could do during combat if they weren't doing a lot of really active prep time outside of combat, right? Hey, what's up, Akita? So this is going to necessitate a different kind of a narrative, a narrative that we're going to have to basically let DMs know this is the way that some of these things are intended to work, right? Quickly making an alchemical item during combat is something that you're most likely going to have to use your action for, using the use an object action, right? But, in the ID fully, just being faster for any other reasons. In design fully, yeah, instead of going over and doing the Google Doc export and everything. Yeah, and I kind of talked a little bit about that in the first live stream. I would kind of rather kind of see the work, I feel a little bit more driven once I actually see the whole document kind of put together. It gives me a little bit more oh yeah, I can't help it. It's just part of the I guess designer in me that really wants to make sure that this thing is done, you know, oh yeah. And it really pushes me to just create more and more. This would actually not buff the thief, at least not in a way that I could see it right now. I might keep this in here for right now, just as a kind of thought as to where I'm at with it. But part of this came from, I did a little bit of research into what Pathfinder was doing with their Alchemist, right? In Pathfinder 2nd Edition, the action economy is way different than what we have in 5e. And in some ways, I think it's actually better than what we have in 5e. Pathfinder, you have... okay, so think about it like this. In D&D, you have your action, sometimes a bonus action, your movement, and a reaction. That is your core turn, right? Over in Pathfinder, you have 3 actions. And using one of those actions, you can use the move action. Yeah, Pathfinder 2. You can use the move action or the attack action, right? They're taking up the same part of the action economy. So that is a thing that translating some stuff over to 5e can be a little bit difficult, and I'm fine with that because I don't want it to feel 100% like the Pathfinder Alchemist, you know. I'm cool with them both having a comparison, you know, but I would rather not. I mean, yeah, I want to make my own original stuff, but at the same time, from what I've seen in the Pathfinder Alchemist, there's even some issues with their take on it. that I would like to try and not deal with over here, right? So the core game loop, what am I kind of thinking right now? Basically, your action, your movement's going to be your movement, whatever. This should emphasize a mid. They have action points. If you've ever played, is it Pillars of Eternity or Path of Exile? I think Path of Exile is the one that's more based off of Pathfinder. But it functions really similar to the action economy that they have over in, I want to say Path of Exile. Pathfinder 1 works a lot, kind of like 5e. Interesting. Morning, D&D Legacy. Oh, shucks. After watching hours and hours of your content, I feel good to start and go public with a design project. Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear it. The big objective of Alchemist is to find the Philosopher's Stone and turn any metal into gold. The capstone should be to achieve something similar. That's what Mage impressed us with theirs. But their Philosopher's Stone is more like a... their Philosopher's Stone is like a nuclear bomb, whereas mine, I'm like, this should be a material component that can substitute for any material component whatsoever, and that can be for any spells or, like, alchemical items, right? The reason why I don't think that this is all that absurd is because if you look at, like, oh, how do I put this? If you look at, like, what Creation Bard can do with their 14th level, this is effectively about the same, although what I should probably do is, do I follow a template to make new classes? It's all kind of subconsciously. I don't have like something that I follow note for note, but I am aware that there are like certain level expectations for what you should get with class features, right? And we can talk about that here in a second. But College of Creation Bard, you purchased the Home Field Advantage PDF and book from the DM's Guild? Oh man, I hope you get a lot of use out of it. I think that was such a cool project. Trekeros might be in chat here in a little while, but I don't know what time it is over in France. But yeah, that was Trekeros's big baby. Similar to the Full Metal Alchemist Philosopher's Stone? Oh, okay. Hey, there he is. When you create him, that would exceed that number. Boom. This right here. So performance of creation. Unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. The item must appear on a surface or in a liquid that can support it. So, non-magical item. Oh, god. Really? We have to deal with Twitch bots now? Really? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on... Okay. Wow. Let's get you out of here. I've got mods over on YouTube. Twitch is new territory for me. Oh, your account was literally just created, huh? Get out of here. Later. Okay. Bots are just proof I'm getting picked. Well, shucks, I appreciate it. The Philosopher's Stone is actually ore moss. A thick saltwater solution mixed with sodium, I'm guessing, to create the ore moss. The mixture is living hot sun and gold IRL. Huh. Is that like the real world folklore for it? You streamed on Twitch for the first time talking about the new UA and you got a ban on the first stream. Jeez. Whoa, okay, they are. Yeah, me either. How do I, Oh, shucks. Man, you're gonna make me actually moderate over there. Come on now. Yeah, that's a bit much. It's crazy how, like, how much more insane the bots got in the last, like, 2 weeks. Did that get rid of it in the... Oh, it did. I wonder why it doesn't get rid of it over in the chat stream. Whatever. The Hammond's Harvesting Handbook series may help as an alchemist quest for special potion ingredients, and that's what I highly, highly encourage, is, like, I might even put in here, there are additional supplements that you can refer to for more inspiration. Oh, yeah. There's something up with the way that Mads is PNG exporting. Like, InDesign just doesn't seem to like it. It just, like, hyperpixelates everything. Let's get that out of here. The thing I might do... Yeah, can I do... Collapse, community. This is always curious if there's like a way for me to do like, yeah, there we go. Whoop. Pop that chat over here. And then boom, there we go. Wow. Okay, can I just ban that phrase? Sorry guys, let me do like a second of moderation here. I don't want to get like too into the thick of it and mess something up here, but let me do this. There's a way for me to do like band. Right? Don't tell me that's something I gotta configure over in OBS. Oh yeah, I mean, once I get this done, this is the last time we're gonna have to think about it, so let me do that real quick. I can figure that out. Isn't there, there is most definitely a way to do... No, how do I do this? Creator dashboard, right? Boom. Hey. I don't want to do sub-only chat. There we go. Boom. All right. Cool. That might help it out. We'll see. They've only ever sent one message. This is insane. Yo, Twitch, like... Okay, we'll figure it. We'll see if that helps it out. Okay. You did 5... Yeah, I saw you've been uploading like crazy flutes. This stone was featured in the AD&D Psionics handbook? Huh. Now I was coming up here to do recommended. Okay, so I also want to do, this might be something to add to an appendix later. Looks like comments on the newbie, but Jordan is a great cheerleader for a lot of different Not only a great channel, but also just like really active on the TTRPG YouTube sphere. It is from Moonlighter. Yeah. Great, very, very underrated game. Like, oh. Because I had talked with Heavy about this, actually. Heavy saw the video. He watched one of the live streams the other day. Heavy said he's working on his thing, but he does not really want it, like, public right now. So what he suggested was, like, if we combine forces at some point, then we can talk about it then. And what I think could be cool is once he's got that done, once he has his work done, why does this feel weird? Once he has that stuff done, then I can add in like optional class features to adapt my Alchemist with like whatever he's doing over there. I'm just gonna do that. It should span header. Oh, it looks so bad. Okay, we'll see this for right now. Gross. Is there a way an alchemist can disenchant a magical item? There is a thing that I've done over in the merchant that doesn't really feel very alchemist to me right now. The blacksmith merchant has their retool enchantment feature, and that allows you to break apart a magic item, learn the enchantment, and then you're able to use it, you know, whatever. 60 will first come to the Alchemist Almanac too, yeah. So if you're interested in that kind of a character concept, then like go over and check this out. But the Alchemist, I'm kind of focusing on just making like alchemical items right now. I think I still need to leave that up for now. Some people have told me about different supplements that had some like old school alchemical items written in it. So that's also got a few of these up right now. You can't watch this one live since you have to leave in a few minutes. Will the VOD be uploaded as well? Yeah, the VODs are going to be over on Twitch and YouTube. And the part 1 is currently re-uploading right now. Arcane Barista, yeah. There is... And this is by... Who wrote Hammond's? Harvesting and crafting. What I may need to do is something similar to what Jasmine Yang. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I might later on, if I need to publish it over on the DMs Guild, I might reach out to Jasmine and just be like, hey, is it cool if there's some stuff I can pull over and, you know, we could maybe collab a little bit, give you a little bit of a kickback on the, you know, class. Because a lot of the stuff that's in Hammond's, I think, is like, yeah, adamantine bestseller. Yeah, a lot of people really do use that supplement quite a bit. Hey, how's it going, Alan? When it comes to alchemy/alchemist, what does it mean to me? Is it more of making concoctions, or is it just creating something out of nothing? Creating something out of nothing is what I would consider to be transmutation or conjuration, whereas an alchemist, I try to think about it like this. Before I really get in on designing a thing, I have to really consider, like, is there a way that you can already make this in the game? Like, would you be able to make an alchemist using the current rules that they've given you, right? I don't think that the artificer does that. The artificer alchemist does that. And I don't think that themes of the transmutation wizard totally hit that either, you know? The transmutation wizard, it's easily justified by spells. And if you wanted to play like the Full Metal Alchemist style alchemist, then I would just highly recommend you play a transmutation wizard. Whereas this is going to be like, we want to focus on the classical, or the classic theme of alchemy, right? Like, why has it been underserved, you know? That's the thing about when making it. Oh yeah, you just like, you've got to, you know. Is there any reason why I can't make the thing I want to make in the current rule set, right? And like, why is it that everything that's in the game right now isn't allowing me to do the fantasy, right? The fantasy of alchemy. There's a couple different issues with 5e. Like, what's the classic form of alchemy? You know, let me show you kind of what I'm thinking. Because someone recommended this the other day. And I thought that this was like a really, really cute game that kind of gets across what I'm thinking of. Potion craft. One sec. I don't think stream's going to lag out because of this. In this game, what you're doing is you can combine different ingredients over here. I know you can't really see the whole panel because of my face over here. But you combine different ingredients into a cauldron, or like a mortar and pestle, right? Grind it up. Yay, that's fun. Throw that in there. Whoop, throw that in there. And stir that. This is like, I had this tab on standby specifically for this question. It's a good example. It really is. Because I just picked it up like last night after someone in chat recommended it, and I was like, yep, this is exactly what I'm thinking of. You grind that up, throw that in there. Boop, 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 boop. And now I have, I don't know what the, ooh. Okay. Wait, I actually don't know what that thing does. Wait, let's go. Hold up. Sorry, now I'm invested in this. Okay, now let's go up, right? Wait, can I go back a little bit? And then now I'm fascinated. Oh, potion of lightning. All right, cool. So now I have this like potion right here. Finish that, and then yeah. So too far. Oh, I can't use that one for now. Yeah. Well, so I'm just kind of giving you an example of what I think is like traditional alchemy, right? You make these potions over here, and these potions are the things that, like, at least if I'm going, I like starting there as my essential theme for alchemy, right? You make a potion or another alchemical item, and that's the thing that, like, that's the fantasy you want to evoke, right? By creating these potions, you can do certain things, and yada, yada, yada. Now, this is more of just like a fun, like, crafting resource management type of a game. So, like this, I mean, no, you couldn't exactly play D&D, like, potion craft, right? But that is the kind of thing that I want to lean in, right? I want to lean into the idea that you are going to be concocting something during your turn, like as an action. And then, so here's the core game loop right now that I figured out, like, last night after I ended stream, and I've been thinking about this for about, like, well, I went to sleep, but yeah. This morning, whenever I woke up, I started immediately just like, okay, here's the core gameplay loop. So your action, you're going to be concocting an alchemical item with the use an object action. As a bonus action, here's the unique thing for them is if you've concocted something, boom, you can use it as your, bonus action. The thing I've been thinking about, and the way that Pathfinder did this, I thought was fascinating, and I thought was a really, really great way to go. Now, over in Pathfinder, the Alchemist is kind of hindered by how do I put this? The Alchemist, their action economy, at 5th level, you usually see every character is going to get what I consider to be like something of an action economy, like cleanup feature right in there. Sometimes it's extra attack, right? It is a power spike, but it means that your action economy is going to be a little bit more effective because your action is getting pretty beefed up. Now, what I think is cool that they did over in Pathfinder, and this is a thing that we were already kind of talking about, I think it was yesterday, is that if you make an alchemical item during your turn, it will only last until, it'll only last until the start of your next turn. And that was the gameplay loop that I thought I was going to have to go in. However, what they do over in Pathfinder is they have a really cool feat over in Pathfinder that makes it to where it simply shifts the expiration date or expiration time from at the start of your turn until the end of your turn. That is so subtle, but what it means is you are effectively you're able to use your action, create a potion, do other stuff on your turn, and then your next turn you can use that potion, right? This is the kind of thing that it's a very, very small sort of a buff on the action economy, but that was enough to where I was like, yes, I think that's the direction its 5th level needs to go in, right? So if you create a potion on your turn, the way I think of it right now is it's shifting from the start of your turn to the end of your next turn. That is nice, but I think that it's not quite enough to justify the 5th level spike. What I do think you can do, yeah, you can add one more thing to it on that, right, which I like quite a bit. So what I think you can do is, rather than that small spike, make it to where at 5th level, alchemical items you create with a concoct action only go inert after 1 minute. Well, I guess we could say, so what this means is that you can, in combat, be using your turn to simply hang out, be crafting these items or whatever, knowing that, they're not going to go bad for that combat, right? That is actually a pretty nice spike. That is not bad. The thing I'm thinking about, and I'm curious because I might pull up Ross's Shaman, because I consider ritual casting to be roughly the equivalent of short rest refresh on the spell. I'm kind of curious if there's not an argument to be made that you can start reducing down the cost of crafting a potion of healing, right? It's just something I'm kind of kicking around in my mind. But what I'm thinking about is, and I've told you guys in the past, I think that expertise is something that I really try to avoid whenever I'm running a homebrew class, because it feels like this is an excuse to take up power budget and make a skill monkey where it's not really justified, right? However, I think it kind of has to be on the Alchemist. And I think that there's other things that you can potentially do to beef it up to where it's unique, rather than just this expertise that they get right here, right? One of the things that I'm thinking of is one of the things I was writing yesterday. So, the thing I'm thinking about is, from looking at Xanthar's guide and looking at the Dungeon Master's guide, yada yada yada, the crafting time that you can make alchemical items with, I think is a thing that we can start moving down if it's specific enough. And what I mean by that is, let's say this, because I wrote this all out and it seems a little bit confusing. What I think you could do with this is say, yeah, this one needs expertise because it's going to be a tool-based one. So I can definitely see that, you know. Multiple concoction with one bonus action to make... I think what you can maybe do is allow you to, like, make 2 later on. But I'm going to kind of hold off on that for right now. Make towards... how am I trying to say this? You see what I'm trying to say here? You know, Xanthars already has a savant type of alchemist mechanic in the tool proficiency section. Do they? Because I saw a, I did pull over a mechanic from Xanthars, but I don't remember, is it? Tool description, special use, wait. The first paragraph in each description gives details. I'm just going to read this down. Supplies the tool is made up of. A character who's proficient with a tool knows how to use it, use all of its component parts, skills. Every tool potentially provides advantage on a check when used in conjunction with certain skills, provided a character is proficient with the tool and the skill. As a DM, you can allow a character to make a check using the indicated skill with advantage. Paragraphs that begin with skill names discuss these possibilities. And each of these, okay. So that's kind of already like an expectation. Abstract into what the term can do. You consider giving a character extra, okay. Proficiency with a tool usually brings with it a particular benefit in the form of a special use, as described in its paragraph. Sample DCs, okay. So, okay. You can use this tool to create alchemical items. Okay, here's a problem. Wizards leaves this very, very vague. Like, super, super vague. They don't use the alchemical item tag, and they just kind of leave it up to you to, like, decide what is or isn't. And this is, like, they have some stuff in here, antitoxin, alchemist fire, oil, perfume, or soap, but this is not really, like, this is not really what I consider to be, wait, keep reading? Are you talking about right in here or further on down? Like, you can collect the raw materials, which weigh 1 pound for every 50 gold pieces spent. Wait. What? What? What are you talking about, Jordan? You don't normally make it for the live shows? Well, hey, we're happy to have you. Is the draft available on Discord? Not quite. It's not at the point that I think it's ready for, like, draft. The thing that I think it really needs... Oh, I read the part that you're talking about? Okay. So, like... Yeah, it's not enough options, in my opinion. You, as an alchemist, being able to make, like, a dose of acid, alchemist fire, this is nice, but... I want more. Like, they need to really... They are so scared. It's like WotC will give you an incredibly bloated subclass feature that you can do for fucking ever, but they won't bring... I don't know why they think that potions are so absolutely ridiculously, like, powerful that you can't get them into player character options. They always have to hardline right over something else that already exists, you know? So... Nice base behind in the shadow? What? Oh! I got a little bit scared there for a second. I was like, what the fuck? Thanks. Yeah, that one's actually signed by REO Speedwagon. I won it. I got it at a concert. Yeah. Jeez, like, I was like, oh shit, what's behind me? Oh man, I woke up this morning and started watching, I don't know why I've been watching these Backrooms videos, but I started watching those, and it sounds to me more like, the Backrooms just sound like the Zoomer version of like the SCP catalog that like my generation came up with, you know? Oh man. So alchemy supplies. What I don't really get is like, it says raw materials, the raw materials to make the thing, but like you have to spend money to collect the raw materials. Like what? Can you not like? And then where does this like gold piece? Where do the gold pieces go? Like, oh yeah, I went out and collected mushrooms in there, and I just dropped the gold pieces everywhere. What the hell is that? Like, have I checked the arms and equipment? The Rio Arms and Equipment Guide? No, I'm not aware of this. Oh, someone updated it for 5e? No, it's just someone using the name. $10.99 for the watermark PDF? Oh, is it like... Yeah, you pay to get direction to the best mushroom spot, yeah. Yeah. No, I gotcha. I'm just, as I read it, I was like, wait, what? Really? Ugh. So since there's no draft, what's the elevator pitch for the class? A martial blaster. I try to find playstyles that aren't currently in the game and figure out a way to justify that in... Oh. Okay. You know what? We're picking that up. And if you see me looking up here, I've got a third monitor I'm on the DM's Guild storefront with. You could roll up a support with it, yeah. But it's not specifically intended to be a support, like, with the loadout. Okay. Boy, what a cover. It looks like all these dwarves have like the exact same face. Alright. Eric Hagel, Jesse Decker, Jeff Quick, and James Wyatt. Alright. I think James Wyatt is still working on 5e. My martial blaster is the thief if I can make dynamite and stuff. Yeah. Okay, so alchemical items. 32. Let's see what was in the old editions. Blade fire, acid bullet, flame bullet, priest bullet, focusing candle, restful candle, clear breath, dark vision powder, defoliator, dehydrated food, dwarf blind, farflame oil, fleetfoot, ghost oil, grey bane, hawk's ointment, instant rope. How are they? I'm curious how they are. Oh god, I hate the format. Everything's an inline subheader. Like, ugh. Yeah, no, this is a completely new thing. I'm basically gonna write like at somewhere in the class that like, if you're using this thing, I would not use the Alchemist Artificer. Like, I just wouldn't allow for it. Okay. There's quite a bit we could grab. Yeah, the 3 East. Yeah. I know whenever people are like, oh, they solved all these issues back in the old editions, I was like, boy, they certainly didn't figure out or solve for their goddamn layout. Mount DC to create, so you have to hit a certain DC to make it. That's not fun. It's like, I'm gonna try, like, creating a thing during a short or long rest should always be like, you can make it if you know how to make it. Like, at least that's like the 5e design sensibilities. Otherwise, it just doesn't feel like a class feature. Okay. Yeah, info dumps without easy to read style, yeah. Like, I guess I can commend them for putting as much as they can into an, you know. Now here's the thing, if I wind up grabbing from this, I have to publish on the guild. However, if I publish it on the guild, using the stuff that they have in previous books, I think there's an argument to be made that there's a version of it I can make that's OGL compliant that doesn't go on the guild. I know for sure the Sovereign I want to sell on my site. I don't really have a big reason to I don't have a big reason to actually publish it over on the guild. Yeah, file them serial numbers off. But it is the kind of thing that I would like to sit down with. I would like to actually sit down with somebody at the guild and have a discussion about what could or could not, how I could potentially adapt something to where it doesn't have to be uploaded onto the guild. It absolutely, I mean, there's no way that they've written a law that says, like, if you as a person published a class on the guild and then you make a different version that's OGL compliant, because you initially published this class on the guild, you can't ever publish this class in any interpretation whatsoever off the guild. There's no way they can protect any kind of an idea like that. This has been a thing that's been kind of propelling me towards publishing like new takes on the merchant and all that stuff. So I need to change the name. I don't know about that. Oh, well, I mean, if you're talking about all this stuff, then yeah, most likely. I don't mind grabbing this because it's like, yeah, the rune keepsy. Grenade-like weapons. You just call these explosives. Okay, so what you can do, splash hit. So splashing is a thing that's been around. Okay, so what we can do, I can start pulling some of this stuff over, and by publishing on the guild, we would have the right to do so, so it's not like, it's not plagiarism, but we're adapting it. Now, what this is going to allow you to do wait. Yeah. What this could allow you to do is craft during a long rest. Right here. Which I'm kind of cool with. Warlock already has the ability to cast Cure Wounds as actually more often than this class to be able to do this, so it's fine. Why does this constantly muck up my goddamn layout work? Inline subheader, there we go. So grenades had specific rules. There are actually, and I'll talk about this whenever we get back to the core. I found out, actually, WotC's kind of already done the work on making ranged weapon attacks with alchemical items that you can throw, but for some reason they keep hard coding it into the items themselves, rather than just like clarifying something later, right? They already have a rule for if I'm throwing a thing that isn't specifically a weapon. Um, the improvised weapon rules are like they already say they have a range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 feet, and they keep writing that back into all these different items. Like, yeah. You found an alchemist subclass and an article about poisons and one about herbal medicines. Which dragon magazine is it? By the way, what's up, Finn? I haven't seen you in a while. So like you can say explosive, you can say splash, right? They don't trust us to know improvised weapon rules. Be right back in 10? Alright, we'll see you then. So what I think we can do, I really want to do this. Oh god, are we gonna have a whole table? Let's say this is gonna be a big table. I already know. Hey, what's up, Huntsman? Oh yeah, yep. They want to give you some kind of a rule for that. But it would just be nice if it was like, man, the rules on like improvised weapons really need more codification. Now what we can do, 81, 119 was in the Best of Dragon Volume 3. Huh. Yeah, I've got Dragon number 130 and 334. 81 and 119 and the subclasses in the Best of Dragon. Volume 3. Now, oh god, why is this? I download the PDF? Because otherwise all I'm seeing are like Amazon. Oh, okay, cool. With class. The Alchemist, 73. Oh my god. Let's pull this down. So this is a class, right? They're all from like the 80s. Some people have been doing some pretty good documentation of all this stuff in archiving. Because I played one with Tabletop Bob and had to ask heaps of DM clarifying questions on how it would work. Yeah. Knowing treatment of items and improvised weapons. Yeah, so we're working on a way to possibly fix all that, you know. Looking into some of the older editions to see what, listed by difficulty, this tells what potions could be made by prescriptions, written in alchemies. Oh yeah, alchemies is a thing. I remember this is like a, I've seen, this is not the first time I'm seeing this. Prescriptions in a special language. Magic user cannot use an alchemist spellbook without both read magic and comprehend languages. Once an individual spell is understood. Okay, this is all. This is nonsense here. It's just not going to work for the system. At least our system. And I'm talking about 5e. An alchemist must have read magic and write to transcribe a spell from a magic book. Okay. So they're still referring to it as spells, but the spells are what helps you to create items over here. A potion of ghoul / gas control. Okay. They have to wait until 4th level to start making potions? Yeah, here's all this like, oh, but you know, because you got a core class feature, it could screw up on you. This is like, this is part of that like anti 5e style of design. Well, they didn't. I mean, 5e didn't exist back then. What I mean by that is, 5e they're giving you class features that are intended to be reliable. That's why things like Wild Magic Sorcerer or like Berserker Barbarian, with those being unreliable or potentially detrimental to your character, they just don't feel like 5e subclasses. Okay. May not wear magic armor for some reason. You may own, like, level and title. Okay. Compounds, boiling mixtures. So these are all like probabilities of failure, it looks like. Yeah, success. It's toxic, destructive. Oh god. And this is okay, so this is perfect example. Old school layout sucks. It just sucks. Parsing out what even this thing does is like, unless you know the language of the AD&D style writing, boy, this is so hard to parse out. It's like it requires so much explanation of this system and artwork. What? Yeah, this is a headache and a half. Alchemist spells. I did not. So everything before this was class features. I take it. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the miscibility. Um, Two types of liquid per day from the jug. They fight as magic users. See, they were kind of already talking about. I know I've talked about playstyles, right? Talking about zones and all that stuff, and they were kind of already using language like that. But this is such a weird language to be using for it. It's not like, oh yeah, you need to, you have your hit die, and that's informing that you should probably be in the back line. The narrative of like, you fight as a magic user, and because you can cast spells, you can't like, yeah. Um, oh god, it's charging for this service. Yeah, it's not really like communicating a lot of mechanical weight, other than just like this is how you can fail it. Oh wait, failure. Oh no, this is a miscibility table. Jeez. Um. Well, I don't know how helpful that really is. What I like seeing are like these lists of what the different alchemical items were from the previous editions. Because that way it's like, okay, I have a lot of cool stuff that I could jump off from there. Um, and since it is something that is a very, very item-based type of a class, it might be worth it to start doing these things like pulling over what some of these would be for like new equipment, right? So or is it equipment or adventuring gear? What are they listed as in the... Yada-da. Loud ass fridge. Adventuring gear. I'm trying to remember how that was actually written in the player's handbook, but okay. So we'll have a few tables. And worst case scenario, this is just a quality of life thing. But we're introducing the potential for like new gear that you can get. And it would just be kind of cool to have that codified somewhere. Here we go. Item cost weight. Okay. Now, if I remember right, this is left aligned. You might be centered, you might be left aligned. Table cell. Be centered. Centered and centered. Okay. Even though I think right aligned is just going to look better for them. Right aligned is going to look better. We're just going to do that. Right align. Yeah. Okay, so what do they have? A limbic. Couldn't we just say jar? Is there a reason why it's different? A glass container fitted with glass cover for storage of herbs and other materials. It's a jar. It's a jar. It's... What? Okay. Sure. Glass. So if there's new items you want to throw into your game, here you go. Hey, XLR, how's the new class coming along? We're doing very, very good. I'm feeling very productive, very optimistic, I should say, about everything today. So not a door. Beaker, 2 slim pieces, bellows. It would be kind of cool to just eventually get a, maybe like an official expansion on, let's see that. It's 10 to 20 in here. We'll just average it out. It would just be cool to get like a bigger list of like new items and stuff. WotC really needs to do that. It shocks me that like they have not. Okay, equipment, homebrew equipment is some of the most popular material out there. I don't know like why WotC hasn't just like made another list of like additional weapons with different mechanics and stuff. People are wanting this. Cruet? It's a small glass bottle. Okay, we're just gonna... It's a glass bottle. Bottle, sure. Glass chunks. You'd settle for a rework of the existing weapons table? I could see an argument for that, honestly. Yeah, Volo's Vocational Ventures needs. There are definitely gaps in the weapon table, and I'm not just talking about like we need a finesse weapon that you know whatever. I'm talking about like a great axe doing 1d12 compared to a longsword doing 2d6. One's just like objectively better. Kind of like Kibble's version of raw glass being named unformed glass instead of glass chunks. Yeah, I guess we can just say like shards. Maybe, I don't know. That's not something incredibly important, I think. It's... If you raise the default allowable power level of base weapons in 5e, you'd have so much room for to add new properties or niches. Right now, it's basically solved. It's very, very simple. I think, Cobalt Press did a kind of like a Marshall expansion that I can kind of see why there might be a call for that, you know. They did a pretty good job over there. Okay. That's just glass blower, okay. Tubing? I guess it's like one, it says... Do that. A graduate? I don't know what all this stuff is. Ink. We already have ink in the game. A lens? Oh, a magnifying glass. $3 to 18 gold pieces. Why? I wonder why they do this like moving target on that. $3 to 18. Oh god, why can't I do that? 3 plus 18 is 21, divided by 2 is like 10.5. So we'll just round it down. Try to weapon them though. I mean, people can already can do that. It gives you rules for doing that. Yada-da. The biggest sin of 5e's martial design is 9 out of 10 times your choice does not mechanically support the narrative of your weapon choice. It's just a label attached to the die size. Yeah, I wish that they would have expanded on the idea of like special, like, you know, what an additional like mechanic involved with it as well. Like, I would have taken the trade-off of a like a great axe has a 1d12 instead of 2d6 if it would have gotten like a cleave mechanic or something in there, right? Parchment, we already have that. Prism, I don't know that we have that. Quill, we already got that. Reagent bottle, just a glass bottle for, okay, yeah. Well, sure. Retort? We need to make all these vials hold the same volume. Okay. So the vial is 3. So their idea behind like if something is made of clay, like clay is like the lowest tier, glass is the price of clay times 3, and then metal is the price of clay times 10. And I just love finding little stuff like that. Scale, 50 gold pieces. I think it's closer to probably 70 on average. What is it? 30. So 130 divided by 2. So 65 gold pieces. Test kit. Whatever this is. GPL? What? What? Materials for testing of unknown magical and mundane fluids. Contains enough for 5. That's a kind of cool, like, that's a kind of cool alternative to a healer's kit. Let me pull this over here. The test kit. This is what I'm looking at right here. Materials for the testing of unknown magical and mundane fluids. Contains enough for 5 to 10 tests. That's a pretty cool alternate to the healer's kit. Probably doesn't have the depth of basic RPGs despite years of products being released because all its weird mechanics are bespoke class stuff. Nothing is ever systemic or interrelated. Yes. I know that there's a... so, I'll say this. There's always an argument that I see brought up online that 5e is streamlined, so therein them adding in anything that could, like, bring up some, like, possibly complicate the system is to be rejected. And at this point, if you're making that argument, I'm like, why does everybody not just play a fighter? Why does everybody not just play a human fighter? Because it's boring, right? We want character expression. And that's really, I think, the thing that compels us to be designers or like homebrewers or whatever, is that we want more out of the game, right? So I'm always curious why people like even come to like a homebrewer's channel and they raise that argument. I'm like, if you don't use homebrew, I don't even get why you're like talking in a homebrew discussion, you know? Like, if you're like, well, it's too complicated for the system or whatever, I'm like, it sounds more like you're trying to convince me rather than state why you don't use the thing, you know what I mean? I'm like, I 100% see why some people don't want to do things like bring in a bunch of homebrew. I can understand that, like, I can understand the people's want for like, we're just cool with something simple, whatever. That's fine. But I don't get why you would want to go into other like communities that are all about expanding options and just shit on it, right? I think that's a mindset of you're trying to almost like indoctrinate people in that way or something. Like, and by indoctrinate, what I mean there is like, you're not really trying to you're not trying to explain your position. You're more so upset that other people don't share your position. And I don't get behind that. Oh, well, thanks. WotC has walked away from a while ago. WotC set themselves up for failure by saying that, like, we're trying to keep the system simple. You can do that, but what you've done is you now established a moving target, okay? You're not allowing yourself the flexibility, you know, the wiggle room, whatever, to even potentially innovate. Like, WotC does do some stuff that is interesting and unique at times. But far more often than not, the stuff that they're adding to the game, I just don't really understand their mindset behind it. Yeah, imagine going to a modder the game is good at. Yeah, right. Yeah, why would I ever want to, like, install your mods whenever, like, the game's fine enough? That's where I'm like, I do not know why. What is your thought process that got you to, I need to go into a modders community and, like, shit on them for... I don't even know if they think that they're shitting on you necessarily. More so that, like, it just doesn't seem like it seems like you were seeking out conflict. You know what I mean? Like, ugh, I just don't get people's mindset for that. Maybe 5e is only about 10% of the D&D multiverse. Sure, yeah, like, it's, we're still at a point where the system is, 5e still feels new, but not quite like, how do I put it? 5e still feels to me like we just moved into a house and we don't know what we're doing with the rooms quite yet. You know? I see 5e as a system that has so much room for expansion that the fact that Wizards of the Coast went like, no, we're going to have a new edition come out soon. I'm like, guys, there's still so much stuff you can do with the system right now. Nothing in Mordenkainen's could stand up to like a tepidly optimized character, not even a good optimized character, let alone a party of them. Now, whenever people make this argument that like, you know, an optimized character could do X, Y, or Z thing, I tend not to really, how do I put this? I don't really consider optimizers whenever I'm doing design work. And I can't really blame WotC for not doing so either. However, what WotC doesn't do is factor in basic character building into quite a bit of their design work. And what I mean by that is like they don't make considerations for like meaningful choice being a thing that should be considered. And I keep saying this because it's like my constant issue with the way that WotC is making stuff for the game. They keep coming out with options that are just objectively better than any other option. And that's not, like, yeah, people have levied that, like, they believe that there's some power creep going on. And I'm kind of tired of defending WotC against that, you know? I don't think that there's, mostly because I don't think that there's power creep. More so, like, I think that that's a little bit disingenuous to hop to that conclusion, but I'm starting to see more and more that, like, I can understand where people are coming from that. And I don't think that WotC's doing a great job at defending themselves there. I do think that that in the internet age, it's kind of hard to say that for a TTRPG that there's power creep going on, because power creep would insinuate that a company is trying to drive up sales by some manner or whatever, and you can just get all the D&D shit for free online if you're looking around. It's not like particularly hard to do that. The moment that they release anything in a book, it's available in text somewhere online. Like it's an issue of the medium, right? Power creep, Aberrant Mind, Sorcerer versus every other subclass. I'm more worried about Clockwork Soul than I am Aberrant Mind. It is bloated, but like, I think that I think that Clockwork Soul is the bigger issue, really. But I mean, more so because I have design issues with the way that they made that subclass. Well, didn't Warhammer have this problem? Did it? I mean, I'm not familiar. I haven't really kept up with Warhammer stuff. Clockwork was just designed poorly. There are some cool ideas that happen in Clockwork. They just did not... Man, it just seems like they have right now, from what I'm seeing, is that WotC has an idea, but rather than figure out how to spend their power budget, they're just giving you stuff that they know is objectively amazing. Like, generally good for just about everybody. And what I mean by that is, like, if you looked at the recent... the recent Unearthed Arcana, there's that 6th level rune carver rune crafter. I can't remember the wizard subclass that's just insane, where they just straight up give you a half dose of legendary resistance. Just why? Why did they do that? It's not even interesting. It's not innovative. It's just boring and broken. And what I mean by broken, well, okay, it's overpowered from a comparative sense. And I fought back against quite a few people that are saying that, like, well, barbarians need this extra d6 thrown in there because, like, barbarians need that power spike. And I'm like, cool, give it to all barbarians, not just this subclass. You know, and I don't get why WotC doesn't do that either. Like, yeah, if you want to buff up a class, don't buff up a subclass. Don't release a busted subclass. Buff up the class. Quit it. Like, just quit it with this, like, well, we're gonna make this one option better so that the entire class is better. Like, that's not a there is a bad thought process leading to that conclusion. Let's do. It should be for items. Yeah. Another really slick game if you guys haven't played it, Infernax. Oh my god. Super, super fun if you're into the old school Metroid style, like Metroidvanias. We're gonna do this. Insert row above. I need a subheader. There we go. Boom. They kind of did with the Tasha's variant rules, but it was mostly notable for Ranger, I think. They just need to quit beating around the bush and say, you know what, like, we need to reprint the player's handbook. We need to just solidify this errata. It's strictly better than the second level feature, but uses the same resources. The optimal way to play is to ignore a main feature of your subclass. Yeah, that's a really, really good take on that. It doesn't matter that they're dipping into the same resource. Either way, that's going to produce feel bads. PHP 2.0 is so needed. Just WotC should just say, you know what? Like, they keep using this excuse like it's more consumer friendly to not release a book that seems redundant, or like it just seems to be like a my public email is indestructibleboy@gmail.com. They have done erratas that have been like, you know what, in the new prints you're gonna get this. The fact that they keep printing books that are pretty clearly just non-compatible with the new design stuff, that's an even worse policy right there. The healthier game is suffering because you are refusing to update the material. So if you tell people, like, you know what, you can use the old options, here's the errata for what's in the new material for what you have right there, but here we're going to start from here forward, be printing players handbooks with new. Oh, what's up, Claudia? Gotta get back to work. Hey, I appreciate having you. Hope you're doing well. So what I'm saying that they need to do, like, before we're even talking about like a 5.5e, what they need to do is just update the current books. Like, update the current books with the errata, print the errata so that people that have a player's handbook, they have this thing that they can, whatever. And if WotC's going to be like, yeah, but there's people that don't have we don't want to outdate their players' handbooks or whatever. It's like, no, like that's not a good excuse. That's not even a consumer-friendly way to go about it. You guys are already reprinting books that have some errata in it. Just do the thing, or don't do a new edition, or don't do these new changes. Like, I just don't... I don't buy it. I do not buy their excuses for why they don't overhaul the player's handbook. I need to pull this up anyways. Alright. Hang on. I'm going to do this up here. Oh, and by the way, WotC, there better be PDFs in this new edition. Like, PDFs are just the way that we are getting digital material now. If you don't do it, people are going to pirate it. It's just what's going to happen. So either you make it way more convenient and legal to... you make it way more convenient and legal for people to get access to the PDFs, or people are just going to make their own. D&D Beyond, and like, I like D&D Beyond. I bought everything over here. I have like 5 different versions of the player's handbooks and all that stuff. But the mere fact of like, you're refusing to put the material into a PDF. Like, guys, you know how easy it is for me to make a PDF of like my work right here? They work in InDesign. They send a PDF over to their printer in order for the books to get published or whatever. We know that this is true because some of the leaked PDFs that have come out of material are from WotC's printer. Like, they're either internal documents or they came from WotC's printer. So like, you know, we've been able to find like art assets that were not printed in official books that they had planned to use for like alternate covers or whatever. Like, you know, so yeah. Even buying the books but getting PDFs to go with them since the start of 5e, I love the third-party books with PDFs. Yeah, like, it is a huge quality of life thing for your customers. Release the goddamn PDFs. Quit screwing around with this. Like, come on now. I just don't get the mentality there. I mean, even Paizo figured out a way to release PDFs of their books that don't, like... I always forget where equipment is. Okay. So... where did I have this? You can't imagine being a new designer trying to grow without that wealth of resources. Whoa. Oh, D&D Beyond? Yeah. No, the Trove deserved to get taken down. The Trove was not acting as an archive. The Trove was actively fueling piracy. And I would not have really crapped on the Trove had they not been basically networking to steal the work of third-party creators. Like, I mean, freelancers. You know, here I am, an independent guy, not... I'm an independent guy. I'm not a big corporation, whatever. Had they just been pirating from WotC, I'd be like, you know what? That's funny, whatever. But they were stealing from third-party creators. They were networking to, like, figure out one person get a hold of a PDF from the DMs Guild, and then they would share it either through 4chan or something like that, and then we would wind up losing out on our sales, you know? I know this because I was watching people that were... oh, man. I mean, having my own stuff pirated like that, it sucks, you know? I offer a full preview of whatever it is I'm selling, that you can go check it out. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it, whatever. And like, I'll even go so far as if somebody has hit me up and they're like, man, I'd love to get it, I just can't really afford it, I will do my damnedest to get you a free copy. Like, you know, if someone hits me up about that, I'm totally fine with it. But I just don't. I just can't really sympathize with guys like the Trove, making it to where like you should be stealing money out of the mouths of like, yeah. If I offer a full preview, you don't understand my discomfort. Like if I offer you to like you can just see the entire PDF because I no longer have control of how it's distributed. If you're pirating it, I lose control of the distribution. So it doesn't matter if I'm giving you the full PDF or whatever. There's certain metrics like tracking, even affiliateship, right? The DMs Guild tracks affiliateship by like if I give you a link, that's going to tell me some marketing information into how you got to my PDF or whatever. Reviewers out there may be losing out on some affiliate sales that they're getting from somebody even coming to look at it, right? There are so many other moving parts into just like me offering you the full preview. That full preview also comes with a big watermark that says it's a preview version, right? If you want the PDF to where you got it on your computer and you can look through it or whatever, the sale, right? I put a ass load of work into the PDFs that I create. And like, I mean, I'm offering you the preview. All I'm asking is like, if you want the PDF, pay me for my work. If you're seeing the preview and you want the PDF, I think it's completely fair to say, yeah, I like this material. I'm going to go and give him the $5 to get the PDF myself. It's not like I download it on my computer and I can see how the PDF works. You're seeing what's inside the PDF, you know? So there's a lot more to it than just the ability to see what's in the PDF. It's the interactivity of the PDF itself. There's a lot more to it than just I'm able to look inside of it, right? Because like if that's the argument, then why do you ever buy a book whenever you go into a bookstore? You know? You can recognize as being bad, but also just as a matter of fact, I'm only able to design because of it. But that kind of environment comes up where when there are no legitimate avenues. You're only able to design because of websites like the Trove? Because, I mean, I'm not sure how it's preventing you from designing. Old COC, Call of Cthulhu books, but that were out of print, but then it's like hot new DMs Guild. Yeah. That, okay. WotC, what I think makes a lot more sense, and I think a really good defense for sites like the Trove, are to say something like, this book just legitimately isn't available in my country, like, at all. So that's where I'm like, okay, the accessibility of it, making it more accessible to other people's, sure, I can totally get that. In that case, I still don't think it's really justifiable that, like, okay, if there's a website that is making a product more accessible in terms of like me getting the PDF to the content and you're not making the PDF available, like, I have a pretty hard time just like, WotC, if you were doing PDFs and like, you tell me even, I've got to rebuy, I have to rebuy the material, but I get it as a PDF, watermark it, whatever, do the like, this PDF was licensed to Taron pounds or whatever, dude, I'll pay the 30, whatever the hell it is you want for that PDF just to have the info as a PDF. But you won't do it because you're so terrified of like piracy, of people buying the PDF and then like I don't get their mindset there. Your process, not that you literally need it to design. 100% agree. Third-party creators shouldn't be on there. Well, oh yeah. Like, this whole thing with like, you know, if it comes from a company like, I find it way easier to justify the books of like WotC being on there than I do for Paizo. Paizo, I think ethically, has gone above and beyond to make their stuff available really, really easily. there's a lot of things about Pathfinder that they're just way ahead of the curve compared to WotC. And I don't really know why. I just don't. Yeah, if you can control find in the PHP, you'll pay him double. Yeah. You have a product that you can already be selling right now, WotC, and you're just choosing not to, and it's so infuriating. So typically it's alphabetical order. So I'm going to print, insert the sleeves, and organize in the 3-ring binder your own custom book. Sure. Yeah, I've got my DM binder that, like, I have organized my material that I have the PDF or whatever. I need to print that out, keep it over in my book. I'll even go so far as, like, if I have players that are like, I need my class features or whatever, print that out, give it to them. They have it in, like, a character binder, right? They save so much space on a character sheet. Like, WotC has no incentive to improve the quality of their products because they have a hostage market. I don't know that they really do. I think that you can pretty much run D&D at this point. Like, sure, there's the knowledge of the rule set or whatnot. It's very, very easy to just get the stuff that's available in the player's handbook without buying a player's handbook. And it's like, it's not even that you have to, like, go to some shady website or whatever. This info is available. It's just, it's out there already. Like, let's say alchemical items. Okay, what are we talking about? Oh, just while we're going in on all this stuff, is it worth it to say that these are containers? And keep that separate? People wanting too much control of their pubs is honestly a big problem in modern writing. I mean, I believe people should still be getting paid for their work. Because, like, I mean, that's ideally what I would love to do, is go full-time content creation. But sure as shit, I'm going to find ways to get paid for my work, Oh, yeah, people can't because of... right. And in which case, it's like, boy, I don't know. I'm kind of biased against Fortnite because of the poison I've seen it inject into some of my middle schoolers' minds. He is not held hostage. Well, the content itself kind of is. But, I mean, I think holding it hostage is a bit of a... Oh, wait, you know what we can do? Actually, I developed that metric earlier. Hold up. G-H-I-J-K... Yeah. What you can do... Because we did all that work earlier. Boom. Or wait. Yeah. A clay beaker? Two silver pieces, 5. No, wait. Right? No. What is 20 divided by 3? My brain right now. So the kids can default dance now. What's the issue? No, it's more the way that they're interacting with each other. I know that a bit of it can sound a bit like, soccer mom style, like, satanic panic talk, but, like, Nah, for real. I've got several kids who are just not socially acclimating because they're choosing to stay on, um, they're choosing to stay on like video games on their computer rather than talk with their classmates or whatever. Um, and then they're using it like, okay, how am I supposed to tell a kid that has diabetes you're not allowed to be on your phone, which is like the device that he's using to help monitor like when he's supposed to be taking insulin or what the hell ever. They're doing classwork and they've got to be on their Chromebooks. And like I could go around and be monitoring them the entire time that they're in my class, but like the moment that I'm not around that kid, like I don't get why I'm expected to be the person that's keeping them off their class or off their video game or whatever. Um, I'm a teacher. I'm already doing 20 other things during a day, right? Like I have so much other crap on my mind that I need to be getting to that like making sure that your kid is not on making sure that your kid is not on Fortnite when they should be doing stuff in my class is no. I'm sick of that. Yeah. Um, there's basics of like there's basic social skills that kids today just aren't really getting taught by their parents, and it's because they're choosing to babysit them with Fortnite rather than actually take the time to like get them socially acclimated. Uh, you set up a LAN party to play Halo. It's one thing if they're doing it like in class whenever I'm like, okay, whatever, you guys can have Chromebooks out right now. But like kids are saying stuff like, oh, these like the school system is saying we need them to have activities that they're doing on their Chromebooks because we want to incorporate computer sciences and get them ready for the real world while they're doing all their other schoolwork right now, right? But like what that's done, and I can see the merit in it, but what it's wound up doing is like some of these kids are just they are refusing to socialize with classmates. They will go during lunchtime and sit by themselves and go watch some Twitch streamer rather than actually like engage with their peers. And that real life socialization, like I know a lot of us are, you know, kind of shut-ins in a way, but I mean, like you've got some kids that are showing up that just are not engaging socially with anybody. As a computer lab librarian, if you can teach them to use a computer, you have my thanks. Braver than the truth making my job easier. Oh man. But yeah, like they oh, you forgot I was a yeah. Oh, cool, good on her. Yeah, the problem is like, and also these communities aren't very well moderated. Roblox is probably the worst of it. I'm sure some of you guys have seen some of the YouTube videos about like all the issues going on with Roblox, but we have kids that are echoing some pretty just, I mean, straight up racist and homophobic stuff in class that, I mean, you got to keep pointing over towards what are they doing? What is their off time spent in? They're not talking about anything school related. They're all just talking about what they're doing in Fortnite or what the hell ever, or Roblox, or I haven't really seen it with the group that's doing Stumble Guys or what the hell ever, but like, man, it's just one of those things that children should not be on the internet. It is incredibly hard for us as teachers to, okay, like, oh yeah, Roblox is literal hell on earth. Like, I'm fine with kids. You know what? If you're not doing anything during school, like you're just whatever. Yeah, sure, go. You know, whatever. But like, I got. I guess it's fine for me to say this now. I'm not working there anymore. I took a Chromebook away from a kid because they were refusing to engage with the classroom activity, and I got bit. The kid bit me. And like, I mean, that's not an okay. This is not okay behavior. All right, like this is a kid that was just simply refusing to engage with what was happening in the class, and they bit me. Yeah, they fucking bit me. All right. So like, oh, this is a sixth grader. But there was a seventh grader that pushed me because I took their Chromebook as well. They're refusing to engage. And whenever I mean refusing, it's not just like a no, I don't want to. It's a 1d8 piercing damage. No, they are actively hostile towards talking with other human beings in real life. Teacher who lost an arm because of a kid's bite, yeah. And now I turned 12 on the full moon. You wouldn't worry about the games atrophying their social stuff too much. So I do worry about it because they're not talking to people like real people. I have several kids that like they don't have personalities. Like, and this sounds harsh. Whenever I say that they don't have personalities, there's no development of like a sense of humor. Literally all they're doing is just quoting memes in every single social interaction. Like they're just saying like, I mean, I had, I played Shrek the Musical one time because that's what they're supposed to be doing next, like, that's the musical that's going on for the middle school, like, next year. And I was just kind of doing, like, a little promo for it. And they would not shut up about, like, he's playing a Shrek-saxophone, LOL. Like, saying LOL, quoting memes all the time about, like, Shrek is love, Shrek is life. And I'm like, you are way too young to have that fucking reference. No. Like, there's not, like, there's a certain charm about like working with kids, all right? Like, man, they can be so funny. They can say stuff that is just like you never in your wildest dreams would have thought about because it's just so goddamn funny. Yeah, the way that but games are tied into this because parents today are using games to babysit their child rather than spend the time like working with their kid. Like, bananas and mint in the voice of Jesus Christ. Yeah, oh yeah, they're still referencing Shrek as love. They're like, parents don't really care about putting on things like YouTube Kids or whatever. Just like a baseline thing. Guys, I have seen plenty of stuff on YouTube that if I found out that my kid watched, I'd be, pretty upset, right? I'm the kind of parent that like I will whenever my kid's growing up, yes, I think the kid should be taught like sex ed before the age of like 7th grade, like they keep doing right now. You want to be able to know this stuff because like if somebody is trying to take advantage of your child, you want them to know what they're trying to do, right? So like there are parents that rather than parent, they are choosing to like just have their kid raised on YouTube or what the hell ever. I saw an 8th grader it was on my last day. I saw an 8th grader watching Tucker Carlson on his Chromebook. And I'm like, what do you do about that? I mean, you're like, yeah, no, just sitting there watching Tucker Carlson as if it was just like him watching YouTube video. Like, yeah, yep. Fox News is not banned because they are a news network, and therein there are some of these kids that were up there watching alt-right videos, whatever. This like political grooming that's going on by like Fox and all that is just no. So like, I even like made a little like, God, are you really watching Tucker Carlson right now? Like kind of, and the kid was like, oh, uh, yeah. And I was like, okay. Ugh. Uh, your mistake is in thinking in terms of best practices science and treating your children as people. We should give into a reactionary social panic and let corporate algorithms do the work? Huh? So we're going with 4 plus series. 20s, it feels so different. Yeah, I'd rather them watch shock videos than Tucker Carlson. Oh, man, yeah. Boy, you got a kid that is either watching, like, Two Girls, One Cup or Tucker Carlson. Boy. Oh, you're... Okay. Like... He's an Asperger's syndrome child, not easy, but he's done well. Oh, good. I mean, that's, you know... There's a whole other level of, like... you've got to really be up on your patience and just... every day is a... Because, I mean, I'm not trained in special education. I just did music ed, and wasn't really prepared for what I got into with kids that have lacked the real life social engagement of 2 years. Because, I mean, we had freshmen and sophomores that are acting like 7th graders. You know, these kids are delayed about 2 years. It's nuts. But I was just not expecting. I was not expecting how defensive they were about being antisocial. Like how aggressive they would be about that. Yeah. Now we had far right, probably get it right. Well, and I mean that was the one moment that I saw, and I was like, I do not know. Like with the Tucker Carlson thing, I was like, I don't know, because this is a kid that I had. I feel like we had developed a really good rapport. You know, we played chess matches against each other and all that good stuff. Great kid, awesome kid. And then that last day, I see him watching Tucker Carlson, and I was like, God. I just think like normal, rational thinking people are gonna like would see that as an issue, you know. Like, yeah, I don't know the kid's family well enough to be like, are they going to be like, well, we want him to watch Tucker Carlson? I mean, it's Oklahoma, so for all I know, yeah. That was a heartbreaker. Top 10 enemy betrayals, yeah. Finding out your best friend is a groiper. Oh, man. Okay, so we pulled over a lot of that stuff. I think we're at 2 hours. I'm gonna take a 10. Just kind of potty break and all that good business. We'll be back now that I pulled over some of this stuff from one of the other books. Actually, I need to list that as a source on here before I get too much further. Maybe it's watching to see how bad it is. I don't trust that middle schoolers have that level of it's not introspection. What's the word I'm looking for? They're not looking at things critically enough at that age to determine that what they're looking at should not be listened to or trusted, right? They're not really critical about the information that they're getting from grown-ups at that point. And that's a thing that we typically, that's where they're typically in like speech and debate. There's a whole long story with that, but yeah. So that was 130, right? And then I'm gonna list this one, arms and equipment. I'm gonna do this, and then I have got to pee. But we will be back. I've got a lot of new ideas going on. So, we are definitely taking care of this. Okay. Yeah, 1 sec. This was printed. Oh wow, WotC did this one? Wow, how old is... I guess... Yeah, okay. Wow, James Wyatt's been working on the game forever. I'll take this discussion is kind of slamming on kids, but adults are the same. Oh, I mean, I'm just talking about it specifically because I'm a middle school, like I taught middle school. And I was witnessing this stuff more so there. And that's what concerns me more, you know. But yeah, I don't think that adults are essentially more well equipped. How do I put it? They should be more well equipped. On average, I don't know that they really are, but yeah. I should probably all day and don't talk to Jesus. I just check out for a while. I was just talking about some of the political grooming I've been seeing. Or I did see as a middle school teacher that made me... That was another reason why I'm kind of, yeah, piecing out on that. Anyways, let me go to the bathroom, let the dogs out, all that good business. God, I need to freshen up my coffee. But I'll be back in like 10 minutes. Let me see, is there anybody that we want to go bother? Ooh, Dungeon Dad just said he's got a new snap block he wants me to format. Ooh, yeah, I'm... Got a potty. I was just checking out. Okay. Alright. So, yes, I will be right back. Give me just a little bit. Who's streaming right now? If you guys want to go bother someone, let them know I sent you. Who's live? Hey guys, the White House is live right now. Go raid there. I can hold this long enough. Oh man, I thought Dodger was streaming. Okay, well, it doesn't look like there's... I'm just not really seeing anybody streaming right now. Oh, anyways. Okay, I'll be back in just a little bit, guys. See you here in a sec. Ooh, all right, there we go. You walked in at a weird time. Yeah, so from here, kind of talking about what all is going on with the base class and everything. Oh, sweet. All right. Reanimator subclass, like, oh, you mean for the Alchemist? Could be a thing. I feel like with every class there's always that, like, grab for, like, a necrotic, or, like, a necromancer kind of archetype. What are we doing? I'm going a little bit more into the core and kind of where I'm thinking about it now. And from there, like, basically we're trying to figure out the first level, and then from there going over and figuring out what we, yeah. Yeah, let's do that. And then this will be a thing later. Every class needs edgy mode. And I know everybody loves a whole bunch of options, but I also try to make sure that the layout of options that you get doesn't make a thing just way too hyper versatile. And I can talk about that later on, because that's a hard thing to judge, really. Okay, now that can be a thing later. Alright, I'm just moving stuff around so I don't lose track of it all. Let's clean up the base real quick. Okay. Wow. I can get out of here. Okay. How do I justify a class having spellcasting or not? I don't by default aim at the thing having spellcasting. I try to justify it. Like the merchant was one that I think if you can't bring anything new to the table in terms of like, okay, the narrative has to make sense, right? But if the spellcasting system that you're creating can't bring something new to the table that like wizard, sorcerer, cleric, druid, whatever can already do, then like I have a hard time really justifying why it should be a spellcaster, right? Like if it's just like, okay, I want to make a spell sword. Okay, like I guess that, you know, it almost seems like more often than not, people are approaching it as like, I want this thing to have spell casting rather than why should it have spell casting, right? So, like the dancer, I had a lot of pushback about that not having spell casting for some reason, because people were like, well, you know, you're dancing, so therein you can cast spells by that. And I was like, maybe as a subclass, sure, which is why the weave teaser got made, but it just by default didn't really make sense to me for why it should get spell casting. The worlds of like Final Fantasy are pretty bad about just like everyone gets spells, but like I guess it's part of the world itself, so whatever. Like that's like a really 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 like high magic system, right? I think there's like, I don't know that like D&D specifically always evokes an incredibly high magic system, you know what I mean? More often than not, it feels like characters are intended to be in this like mid to low magic system. Like the fact that fighters are a thing and they're still capable as other spellcasters are tells me that like, okay, you know, they're the spellcasters aren't exactly the insane reality warpers that we can see in certain like magic worlds. Yeah, they are quite a bit more even in D&D than like other, you know, if we're talking about raw damage output, sure. In terms of the like utility that they provide, that's a whole other argument. But yeah, you know, like I don't really weigh the power of things like Wish or Meteor Swarm against like what martials can do, because they're so different that they shouldn't really be comparable, right? Like you as a character, I mean, number one, martialists are just going to outpace most spellcasters at way early levels. Like they're way more reliable. Oh yeah. You can invoke the feeling of magic without giving it spells. The problem is a lot of times in D&D they default to spellcasting for simplicity. What I would like to do is like, because I tried to get away from this with the Runekeeper, where like the Runekeeper was its own magic system, right? And like spells were secondary. If you wanted to cast spells from it, you could, but you have to like go a particular build like that, right? People evoking like a singular kind of like martial Runekeeper, you can do that, you know. I just don't feel like the martial territory is really well explored, and I like designing that way, where I try to figure out how martialists can fit other roles in the game than just striker or tank, you know? Yeah, and the thing is, like, spellcasting is another issue where it's an excuse to eat up power budget rather than actually creating features that are kind of evoking the narrative, right? Because, like, the moment that you give something spellcasting, you know what it's doing for all 20 levels. Like, you have that pacing there, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing to do, all right? I've written spellcasters and all that stuff. What I'm saying is, like, more often than not, it eats up more power budget. Rather, it cuts you off from moments of like what could be really cool evocative design, and like spellcasting can be evocative and all that stuff. What I mean is, like, I highly encourage people to try and stick to a martialist, because like there's a lot of really interesting design space in a martialist that you immediately cut off whenever you give something spellcasting. Like, spellcast or martialists just have so much territory that you can play with. Yeah, if you give a class spellcasting, your class has to utilize it in a way beyond just spellcasting. Yeah, otherwise it should probably just be a wizard or a sorcerer, right? Like, you know, looking at like paladin and smiting, you know, smite is a unique use of your spell slots, and like that's why, like with the merchant, they got spell subsidization, where because your magic comes from the intrinsic nature of value, which, because if you have material components in your world, therein value is magical, right? There is a magical property behind how highly or lowly we value a thing, right? So like the merchant gets spellcasting, but their spellcasting allows you to play with the value of like material components and whatnot. You know, so magic systems like that, if you're gonna do spellcasting in a thing, make it to where the spellcasting feels unique enough to justify it being there. And there's, you know, other resources that you can play with for, like, if you want to make a spellcaster, especially like a half caster, think about what else you can do within the class that's going to be evocative for like the uses of the spell slots that they have. Oh yeah, Arcane Trickster and Eldritch Knight invoke spellcasting just beyond casting. Yeah. Oh shucks, thank you. You haven't read The Merchant yet? Well, wait, you're one of my Patreon sponsors, right? I don't know, talk to me. Hit me up over on Discord or something, we'll work something out. Do I have ideas for the alchemical methods? Yes, yes, yes. Enough that I think it would be more than enough to flesh out a first boom. Is this going to apply to the witch? You mean like kind of what I'm working on in here? Maybe. I have not seen Earl Grey's Doctor class. No. Yeah. Alchemical methods. So what I'm currently thinking of is an apothecary, a bomber, the crystallizer, which that's pretty much made because of my buddy Thrasher. Metallurgy for the kind of like the Full Metal Alchemist kind of feel. Mutagenics. I said the living potion. I don't know what this is going to be, but yeah. The perfumer inspired by Elden Ring. This is going to be a indirect support that can create areas of like, yeah. And then the toxicologist. I think a lot of the homebrew community feel that you can't have a magical character unless they have spellcasting, which just isn't true. I agree. My ideal scion, or like, you know, psychic, would not get spellcasting. Like, Psionics feel more martial to me than they do magic, and that's such a weird thing. Like, you know. Yeah, the Crystallizer is going to focus on a lot of control and lockdown. If I were to rewrite the Artificer, it wouldn't have spellcasting. It would instead get its utility through using magically infused machines. Yeah. Yeah, and I get it. Like, I always hear that same argument that, like, well, you can just reflavor the spells as something else. And I'm like, no, I mean, sure, but, like, not really. Like, there's mechanical implications for what that means. And I get it that, like, you're like, well, I would rather think of it as, like, a tinkering thing that I'm doing. And I'm like, it doesn't. But it's not. Like, it's not. You can write a mechanic that can convey that isn't this excuse of, like, you know, let's give it a pass of its spells. God, that's such lazy design. Yeah, I think that the Scion is supernatural, not magical. I think that there's a different flavor that gets evoked. You know, this is a conversation I was having with it's a conversation I was having with Dan Felder about it, right? In a perfect world, my Scion would not get spellcasting. It would not be a wizard. It would not be a sorcerer. It would not be a warlock, a cleric, whatever. A martial or a Scion would probably feel closer to a martialist because, like, look at the examples of what Scions or psychics are in fantasy, right? My number one pick that I'm like, this is probably the best representation of a psychic or a Scion in fantasy, and you cannot make this with the current, like, D&D rules, is 11 from Stranger Things, right? I guess it's kind of pertinent now. Or topical now, I guess. 11 is not a wizard. 11 is not a sorcerer, right? At least not by, like, what I consider, like, 11's not casting spells, you know? Like, 11's not a cleric. You know, like, this feels... Yeah, okay, so I've seen some interpretations where people think that the Scion needs to be a monk. And I can get behind the idea. I think that, like, somewhere in the monk chassis is the potential for a cool Scion. Like, I mean, if you look at, like, Stunning Strike... Ooh, Stunning Strike feels way more psionic than it does Monk. I hit a thing so hard that, like, it's just like, days, sure, whatever. But, like, that feels way more easy to justify whenever it's a Scion, you know? She's close to an aberrant mind. I mean, maybe if, like, you were trying to make her within the system, you would probably choose Aberrant Mind Sorcerer, but, like, Aberrant Mind Sorcerer can also go over and get the entire Sorcerer loadout. So that, to me, makes it like 11's not a yeah, I have not seen web DMs preview for the Scion. I do remember looking at it. Wait, hasn't that thing been like... I thought they did their Scion for a Kickstarter like 2 years ago. No, just let me see the... Nope. Get out of there. It's $0. We can take a look at it. I mean, it would just be a real quick review, but yeah, I'm gonna get back to the Alchemist. Because, like, I'll probably know within, like, 2 minutes as to whether or not it's going to work out for me. Okay. Class advancement. Okay, PowerPoints. All right. PowerPoints you have. Okay, so there's an element of tracking That is above 20, which is like unconventional for 5e, but it's not as bad as the UA Scion, so that's probably pretty okay. Mental modality. What is your psionic power? Supernatural manifestations. These are below. Okay, first level, you may select one psionic discipline from the list of psionic discipline section. So that's your subclass. Okay. So is it just basically like spell points in a way? Finish a long rest. You have a zone of influence that you can use these powers on. It's an intelligence class. Good, good, good. Okay, I do like that design philosophy where they're like, rather than give you the quantity of like, okay, rather than have you track like 40, 50 of a thing, what they're allowing you to do is during a short rest, recover up to like half. So this is technically like you have 45 of these PowerPoints right here. So, you know, is it boring and basic? I personally feel that like the moment that you introduce tracking, it's not that it's bad, but I always try to find ways to get rid of elements of tracking if I can. Only somewhat related TA has Dwemer class that uses calamitous magical abilities. What's a Dwemer? Never heard of that before. All its powers can be performed at will. Huh. I mean, cool. Without knowing exactly what they are. Okay, so is this going to be Mage Hand? No, better Mage Hand. Increase the amount of weight you can manipulate. Okay. This is probably a thing that you could fix with some layout help. I would say that, I don't know, but I thought that the disciplines were going to be more, okay, so they're not, these are like powers, which I think it would have been probably better represented by calling it like psionic powers, right? How would I justify a specter as a warlock familiar? I off the top of my head, I would have to take a look at its stat block and see what it's doing out compared to the other familiars. Bludgeoning damage, telekinetic hurl, a huge or smaller creature of your choice. Jeez, whoa, that's a lot right there. I would say it's a bit odd that they can do the manipulation of, like, that has a limit of 30 pounds of weight, and then you can suddenly hurl a huge or smaller creature. That should probably be limited down to, like, a large for right now. And then possibly as you gain levels, increase that, right? It's just, this is quite a bit much, right, or that early on. Psychoportation. Okay, so there's a lot of real classic vibes that they're evoking with it right now. Meta creativity. I know that's going to be like conjuration. Okay. Oh, fun art. Barrier, telepathy. So you choose 2 of them? Was that right? Is this a first level preview? So you have 2 of these PowerPoints, and you can get... Wait, why is this a feature? one psionic discipline. Okay. Yeah, there's that's way too much battlefield control, because what you're doing, whenever we got to think about movement, right? Think about like a creature can move like 30 feet during its turn or whatever. That is actually action economy shut down, because that thing is either going to have to dash or like whatever to get back to you, right? What I think, if I remember right, the detect balance guys are now doing. They think that a movement speed of 20 is like as bad as a negative like 4 or a negative 8 against the detect balance score, because over the course of combat, it's like you're essentially losing out on a like an entire turn's worth of movement for like standard characters. Pathfinder 2E Psychic is... Oh, yeah, someone talked about it the other day in the Discord. Yeah, I don't think it should be a spellcaster. That's a... The moment that you use that... I have a hard time justifying a Scion as a spellcaster whenever the monk isn't a spellcaster either, you know? They both do feel like they're drawing on that same kind of a power in some way. Well... Like, without getting too much further into it, the first things that I would say, if there's some layout stuff in here I would probably personally change, just to make it a little bit easier to kind of read. It will kind of understand the flow, the order of like operations and everything. Your zone of influence being 50 feet once your hit die. A D8. And you get light armor? This is from like a year ago? Like a counter to magic. Yeah, somewhat. Feedback. You think justifies that decision? Okay. I mean, like, I think the best envisioning I can picture for a Scion is going to involve, like, number one, call it a psychic. Like, if I call something a psychic, I have, like, minimal things I need to do to convey exactly what that character is supposed to be, right? The player buy-in and the expectation of the fantasy is just already understood. Calling it a Scion, not everybody is really super familiar with that term. So, like, if I call you a psychic, you know what's up, right? Your abilities being able to be used even when you're out of juice kind of makes it a martialist. Yeah, that's kind of what I think. It's somewhere in between where, like, a Scion should probably be like a supernatural character, not a, like, magical character, you know? Just, like, on a quick preview, it looks like they're going in that direction, which I'm like, okay, cool. But I mean, have they made any progress on the Kickstarter? Like, is that going through? Pre-order. Oh, they just updated it like May 5th. Because, like, I love the look. Like, this cover's a banger, man. Updates. In a year since they had some delays. Deluxe cover art. Oh. Oh, Wayne Reynolds. Isn't that the, that's the Pathfinder guy. Huh. right on. Okay, so it looks like they're still doing stuff. Community PDF delivery, June 20. Okay, cool. Good on them. Yeah, the art looks really cool. Oh, God. Man, my allergies. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, I hope that was not on camera. It was. Oh, great. Great. I'm glad. Yep. Awesome. Oh, man. Um, well, what you gonna do? That is life. So yeah, it seems like there's, I mean, just a million different takes on what a Scion should be. I just think that the Scion as a class starting out, just recall it a Psychic or something else, rename it, yeah. Okay, so, the core right now. What I want you to be able to do, basically what the turn is going to look like, is on your, like, your main action, you're either going to be attacking, or, like, you're going to be using some of your alchemical items, or you're going to be using that turn to concoct a thing, right? So either use, like, the use an object action to use whatever, or you use that use an object action to concoct, and then a bonus action to use the item you just made, right? That to me feels like the core gameplay loop that will evoke. This is what the Alchemist should be doing. Now there's a formatting decision that needs to get made. Of how this is all going to play out. Hey, what's up, Darren? Oh, let me get that out of here. Wait, this is 41% uploaded. God, that whole 9-hour stream I've got to re-upload is taking forever. Concocting will expend the ingredients. Yes, that's the intention. Now, okay, what can you do with the concoct action? It's like the use an object action. Okay, so we're going to simplify it and say, while you're using this version, like you're using the while you're using the concoct to use an object action to concoct. What on stream got flagged? I had some music from Cowboy Bebop that was playing in the beginning, and it got the entire thing flagged. I thought that it was all, like, I thought the stuff from Cowboy Bebop was okay to use because, like, so many other YouTubers had used it, but apparently the way I had used it was not correct. So, you know. Yeah. Feat to roll to expend ingredients while concocting? What? Yeah, it was like Sunshine or whatever the animation studio is that just... and it wasn't even a like, well, revenue share. No, it was like... So whenever they copyright strike a stream, I don't even know that any super chats or donations will be paid out to the streamer. Because if you can't monetize it, my interpretation, at least what I've heard from other like YouTube live streamers, is that super chats may also be paid out to the live or the copyright strike instead, which is not great. And this is why I think some streamers that are using YouTube as a platform will unlist their stream after it goes up and then they just clip it, right? This is part of why I like doing the VODs as well. I mean, people have been requesting, like, they really like the VODs, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll keep doing the clips. But also, if there's an issue like that, then then I can at least upload a VOD that has, like, good information or whatever that I can clip and still, you know, monetize that. Do I usually change a lot of stuff after playtesting? Yes. Yeah, let me show you real quick. Well, hang on. We'll define this real quick. Because, like, I can define a brand new action that you're going to use, or I tie it more into use an object. However, what I don't like is I feel like by saying use an object, I can't really define my terms all that well. I'm kind of stuck with what use an object says, no matter how vague that is, and with the weight that carries with it. What I can do is creating is that sentence clear? Does it need to be that, or... Because I know what this should play like right now. Okay, what do you guys think? Number 1 or number 2? You think 2? Okay. Huh. I think 2 makes sense. Oh, that's right. Artificer has a precedent for this. In hand. Okay, so what they say is... I'm just going to copy paste that over. Okay, now we can parse that out to where it's like more conventional. Don't get too lost into thinking that anything in here is solidified whatsoever. No, it's not redundant. We're just still parsing it out. You concoct alchemical items. Using alchemist supplies and...
Whoa.
Hey.
What you guys talking about?
Oh, just still working on a core on this thing. I think I may have accidentally picked my nose on stream.
I
know.
Nice.
It's great. It's fine.
Well, I'll help you. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Now you're.
Oh, we'll be embarrassed together. Aw.
Oh, hi. Hello.
You missed town.
Oh, you stop it. Hi. I'm just waking up.
Alchemist supplies and nice.
Yeah. Hello.
Or when you
You can copy alchemical items using alchemist supplies. You must have your alchemist supplies in the components for the item in hand. And you can copy item. Okay, wait. So this is.
you're already gonna have the proficiency. Okay.
So this is like making potions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we all pick our nose. I am.
Yeah. Let me ask you all one question. What is when you're driving your car, what is the left side of the driver's seat for?
Oh God, no! What?
Literally, so many people. So many people.
No, you got napkins in your car for that.
I'm just saying.
No.
So many people.
I am never letting you drive my car. No, you have a booger seat?
No, I don't. I'm just saying that's like a thing. So many people. So many people.
I am deeply upset. Like, I am.
You've never heard that?
I like. Oh. Yeah, I have there's. I have never been in the struggle of where I was like, I gotta clear my nose, and then I'm like,
you don't have anything. You've never been without. You've just never not had anything.
I would rather rub it on like a
The
shirt.
floor mat, please.
Oh yeah, or the floor mat, right?
Flick it, yeah, right. It's not Alchemist.
Oh God. Oh God. Well, I'm. Oh my God.
Don't think about it.
I was gonna get food,
I would like food.
but now I just don't even know. I just don't know. Tissues aren't that expensive. Oh God. Oh, all right. We got to figure out a different way to push that chat. Yeah, way to derail the stream. Oh man. Hold up.
Okay, yeah. So how do you make a potion? Ooh, ribs. Yes. I love barbecue.
Stability of those crafted with care.
Oh, glass string rod metal stand to hold the beaker in place over a flame.
Oh. Alchemist supplies item. Wait. Oh, hold up. Wait, cause you have to have your alchemist supplies, but if it is the implication that like your alchemist supplies are, is that from Xanthar's Guide or was that Player's Handbook? You're gonna eat ribs. God damn, that sounds really good.
I know.
Are we getting barbecue?
We can.
Is that what we're doing?
I love a good.
God damn, that sounds
sandwich,
good.
Man. Love pulled pork sandwich.
Who wants to buy my lunch? Send me a super chat.
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah.
My bank account sucks.
Okay, yeah, it's in Xanthar's Guide. And a barbecue does sound super good right now.
Also, exciting news on my end. My parents got me a printer and a die cutter for my graduation present. So now I'm gonna be making stickers.
Yeah. Yeah, they're whenever we get so here's the cool thing. I am like super close to, well, I say super close to, I got hit up the other day about YouTube, or on YouTube about, and I thought about doing this. I might be in a pretty interesting spot here on YouTube because since I'm getting close to 10,000 subscribers, YouTube was letting me know that I have the ability to, once that rolls over, sell merch through YouTube. So, what I'm considering doing is I may not even have to have my own website to sell. I could potentially sell my classes as PDFs through my YouTube videos.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
So you can sell stuff through YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, Indestructible Boy stickers, and because it's a die cutter, I can buy vinyl and do like decals and stuff as well. So D&D stickers and decals and class logos and stuff and his face and all the things. So.
Hey, Craig.
Hey, thank you.
Craig, you rock.
Yes,
Thanks so much.
Okay, spread the word. Like if each one of you just had like one friend subscribe, I'm shamelessly plugging you.
Well, I mean, then it would be, 36 more people, but that's,
Well, I guess I mean like
it's help.
All the subscribers, I guess, because I know they're not all in chat right now.
Yeah, thanks so much, Craig.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, Mr. Rex does that on his channel? Really? I was not aware.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, that way, I mean, like, if people are interested in the design process, it's just like, bam, you like my stuff? It's right down there. So yeah.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Aren't I locked out of that by the stupid DM's Guild license? That's assuming that anything I create in the future has to go up on the guild. You suggest my channel whenever you can. Aw, shucks, I appreciate you. Thanks so much, Huntsman. Yeah, now I'm starving. Now, okay, yeah. I'm hungry. Barbecue?
Mm-hmm.
Barbecue. Okay.
From
What?
where?
Oh God, that's a good question. What's it?
Crib, Albert G's. Let me look.
Albert G's is pretty good.
Okay, hang on.
You link my videos to every Discord channel. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, the community's been like really just. I love the enthusiasm behind like everybody that's just been helping out and spreading the channel around. It's really meant a lot.
Okay, Billy Sims, Albert G's, Oklahoma Joe's.
Do I want to do an hour break to get food? Oh, I mean, I'm working on this, and we'll just order it.
Yeah, it'll take a little bit for it to get here.
Oh, lovely.
What? We're all human and we're all gross.
You finally make it to a live stream. Hey, glad to have you.
Aw, yeah.
Glad you can make it to one of these live. Always keeps me company. Well, I'm glad you're hanging out. Yeah. It has been a while since I've seen my phone bags in there.
Which one? Sorry. Billy Sims, Albert G's, Oklahoma Joe's.
I think Billy Sims is pretty dope. Oh wait, Oklahoma Joe's.
Yeah, I think that's
That
the one
was
we
like the
usually
real
get.
solid one,
I
right?
think
Yeah.
so. Okay. What do you want?
Uh,
Sorry, that came out so much more mean than I intended.
What?
What do you want? I didn't mean it to come out that way. What would you like to eat, my love?
Yeah, just ribs.
Okay.
Those are like a half rack or something like that. Oh, that sounds really good.
Okay.
So. Okay.
Oh, I like this music. Is this
Infernax.
Oh, I thought it was go to the beat in the dungeon.
Oh, Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yeah. That's
No,
what it
yeah.
was.
Did the Sovereign ever get finished? I got a pretty solid feel for the first level, and that's one that I do plan on taking back up whenever once I kind of move forward further in the summer. But yeah, it's planned on finishing up at the end of this, by the end of the summer for sure. Amanda stream.
That's me.
What do you want is the traditional Klingon greeting? Oh. Oh, cool. Thanks, D&D Legacy. Amanda.
Amanda show.
6 left. I have like 5 that I'm looking at trying to get done this summer. But I actually, Heavy pointed out, like, I think even if there's one that I'm just like, I just don't know that I can make it work out. I do think that the experience of seeing, like, yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work and there's failure that happens, like, that's fine. Like, if you, like, you might set a goal and not be able to hit it, and, like, that's okay, Yeah, Sigma Stream mindset, yeah.
Oh, Dragon King bought the dancer and the merchant.
Huh?
Dragon King bought the dancer and the merchant.
Aw, thank you so much.
And then I saw another one. Oh yeah, NAC down here at the bottom. That's sweet.
When they're talking about designs, open to ideas about game. Oh.
I know.
Well, you guys are just giving me all kinds of positive affirmations. Thinking about any adventures this summer, like writing some. What I thought about doing was I liked the concept so much of doing a bunch of like mini. I saw that mini dungeon thing, and I thought about like maybe trying to help by doing like some project management on the side of like some people write up some mini dungeons maybe in the community or whatever, and then making it a big collab that we split, like whoever works on it gets whatever percentage of it, I thought that could be kind of cool. I'm still a little bit hesitant on mixing money with viewership and all that stuff, but it's the kind of thing that I thought could be kind of, like the Witcher job boards, right?
What side do you want?
If you buy some Runekeeper Taron bundles, you get a discount if you get a discount on anything else that that's in the bundle. What
side do you want?
The important question. Do they have fried okra?
No, I looked. I know. But they have jalapeno hush puppies.
I'll just do onion rings.
Okay.
That works.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you get it's ribs and a meat, so there's a meat choice. I know.
Hot, whatever.
Okay.
Hot
link.
That'll work.
Okay.
Managed to make some mini dungeons. If I want to do the mini dungeon thing, I'm so game dude. You got some ideas? Yeah, I
don't even know how to start to make a mini dungeon. To be honest,
it all kind of just starts with like thinking of maybe a conflict, or maybe you get inspiration from a certain monster or whatever. But like, I always say, like, don't make it any bigger than like a 5-room dungeon. Those are really, really easy to run within like a single session. Usually, if somebody says like, I have
2 sides.
Oh. Then the jalapeno hush puppies.
You got it.
That's what I'm about. What was I saying?
5-room dungeon. Don't make it bigger.
Oh, yeah. Don't make it any bigger than like a 5-room dungeon. There's also plenty of other resources that you can use that can like potentially inspire your dungeon creation. For example, let me pull one up over here.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'd have to sit here and do it with you because I don't know everything that needs to go in a dungeon, but that would be fun to like, for me to get to like choose and try to create one.
I am a supporter of Dyson logos.
Yes.
Over on Patreon.
God, they're so good looking.
One of the reasons why I support Dyson isn't just because they're amazing looking maps, but he also allows you to use them completely like royalty free, like commercial. So like you might even just find a map like, okay, Guild of 5.
Cool.
here's a pretty easy, simple map, right? You have your entryway. Sure, you might count this as one room, maybe. I would say like 1, maybe 2, 3. That ladder leads up here.
Like maybe it's like a stairwell.
4, maybe, yeah, this whole area, you know. So trying to think of like, okay, here's a dungeon, right? So is this foyer or area? I guess this is like a false entrance. I really do like the idea of a pyramid dungeon. That just seems so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get into it from the top. So then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It looks like there's some kind of like either warping or something because you come in. But
Yeah, well, that's so that's his indicator that there's like a statue, or maybe like a bas relief or something like that right there.
Okay.
But usually it's something that could be interacted with, you know. This is the Patreon for Dyson logos. He does all the map artwork for Wizards of the Coast now. He is like their.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
They hired him on officially.
Hell yeah.
There's a pressure plate in TNT. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. Okay, that. All right. It took me way too long to realize what you were saying. But yeah, if you you can't keep showing me quality stuff. Dyson, you can support him for as low as like $1 a month, and you get access to all this stuff. But Dyson's a really, really great creator. If you want bigger dungeons, he has definitely made those. The backgrounds that I use in my videos, where it's like the dungeon look, it's Dyson's work. He's got a pretty famous, huge mega dungeon, and that's the one that I've got like in the background scroll. I'm trying to see some of his bigger work. Yeah, like he'll do city maps. Yeah, I love his work.
Oh, beautiful. I haven't seen anything colored before.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, pretty simple stuff. I mean, you can, and this is like, sometimes he'll release it with an adventure, sometimes it's just, he's got an idea and he'll make it work out, you know? Oh, here you go.
Whoa.
Yeah, he does these mini dungeons like this.
That's
Or, wow, mega dungeon.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this is like, oh, yeah, no, for sure. Go support Dyson if you've got the means to. Dyson is one of the guys that has like defined the dungeon, like the new D&D look, right? It's really inspired by a lot of the old school like mapping and iconography, but he has developed his own, like they even call this style of cross hatching. Where's that? Come on.
Dyson.
Yeah, it's like Dyson hatches. So this like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, whatever. Yeah, it's a whole dwarven city. Yeah. Like, he is ridiculously good. You could, I mean, essentially you could write like a whole Sunless Citadel style adventure in here, you know. So if you're into adventure design, or you want to kind of dip your toes into it, there's a really good resource for you right there. Dyson, Dyson is an amazing creator. Very, very supportive and generous to the wider TTRPG scene. He just wants to make other creators stuff as cool, you know, whatever. There's also like CZ Piku, who I used to support, but I had to cut down on who all I was throwing Patreon love out to. Theirs are much more high res, sometimes even animated.
Oh, cool.
There we go. And you can use it commercially if you're like, you know, sponsoring them. Nice. We use quite a bit of this in Home Field Advantage.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
How pretty.
Yeah, you can't support everyone. Yeah, it's...
Oh, I love that one.
Ooh. Yeah, right?
Wow.
So, again, like, there are some great map creators out there that maybe you see one of their works and you're like, that inspires an adventure, right?
I'm gonna go chill.
Okay. Or it's like, there's... Bless you.
Thanks.
Maybe a certain monster that you're trying to get into the ecology of a bit more. You know, if you wanted to do that, that's a really cool, like, way to study up on them, you know? What a change in tone. But yeah, so I don't know. I thought about doing something like that. That could be a really cool like collaborative project, but that I'd have to think a little bit more on it. Okay. So now, you can concoct alchemical items using alchemist supplies. I think that this is more meant for like abstraction here. You don't literally have to have everything that's in the alchemist, like your alchemist supplies to like actually do this, right? It's like, okay, some of the stuff that you need, right? Like you have to have your thieves tools in hand, so it's just like, I cast a spell. It's an odd narrative. I get it, but like, uh, mm, okay, so let's pull some stuff away from here. So we can, people will have an understanding as to basically how it would work, you know. What happened with the Alchemist Part 1 reload? Copyright claim, and I am currently, it is at 48% uploaded right now. So I did clip out some of the breaks and everything, but yeah. Yeah, you need all that stuff to create the base, but then it's just mixing. That's kind of what I'm thinking. You make like the mundane potion from Minecraft, essentially. Um, um, okay. Okay. So let's get rid of this and see. So the reason why how the Sovereign and the Alchemist are going to be instant adds to your class list, oh, I appreciate it. The thing that I like is that they're evoking a bit more like classic fantasy than I think some of the stuff that's going on currently in like the 5e stuff. Um, what caused the copyright claim? Music from Cowboy Bebop. I was dumb. I thought it was going to be like, I thought it wasn't going to be an issue. I was, yeah, I was wrong in assuming it. Hang on one sec. Okay. Whoa, man. Okay. Perhaps there should be something that mentions the ability to use improvised tools. Improvised weapons or improvised tools? I'm not sure. Um, Like using signs and pictures in a bar. Um, I mean, maybe. Um, it sounds like kind of niche territory to require eating up some power budget on this. Um, Brotherhood of Rapture asks, even kind of on the fence about adding Runekeeper to your current class list, and you're unsure how it would work it into a setting. The Runekeeper, as it's currently like flavored, is meant to be like is meant to be somewhat of a philosopher that is like tapping into the power of the laws of physics. The runes in a lot of worlds, and I was actually really happy that like Elden Ring came out really quick after the Runekeeper, because that furthered the support of like what runes really are. Some people just think like they're magic symbols that you carve on a thing, but that's not. They are like runes are sacred like diagrams of the laws of the universe. So like in the Forgotten Realms, if like they uncover the parts of the blueprints of the universe, right? Yeah. So like you getting access to learn how to invoke a rune is like you know how to slightly manipulate the laws of gravity, right? Or you have the ability to like over in Elden Ring. It's not a spoiler. This is like literally told to you in the first like 5 minutes of the game. The reason why death is a recurring thing, like you can die and just keep coming back, is because the rune of death was ripped out of the Elden Ring, and it's the reason the Elden Ring is a big giant rune, right? Or series of runes. So the in-game explanation for why not only you but several other like either gods or whatever can continue to keep coming back is because this rune of death is no longer a law of the universe, right? And there's it's also not a spoiler here. Part of the thing that triggers this like big war that happens in Elden Ring is that there's a god that's killed because they forged a knife using essentially a section of the rune of death. And there's a whole so basically implementing it into your world. If there are laws of physics, you can slot in the Runekeeper to kind of fill that niche as like this is a character that manipulate. There is a little bit of a buy-in that like runes are the like the architecture that defines the fact that 2 + 2 = 4 in your world, but you could reflavor it if you wanted to as like you want to reflavor that as something like what I thought about doing was, because this has got mentioned quite a lot, I always love the idea of like you look at the Silmarillion, the thing that brought the world into existence is this song. And I was like, cool, so maybe the notes and chords of creation are like what the Runekeeper is actually manipulating. And, so some people had asked me to make a music-based subclass for it. And I'm like, maybe. It's part of why, like, I allow Runekeepers in my homebrew world, but bards are actually closer to clerics in a way. I reflavor them as heralds in my world. So yeah, reflavoring Runekeepers as bards in the world you're playing. Yeah, I think that there's a really cool, like, you're almost a historian or like a, like I said, a philosopher, right? That's the way I really think of them now is Runekeepers are like combat philosophers. Sound controls matters, somatics, yeah. Bard rune subclass, man, there's so many like third invokers I could really make. That's part of why I loved having the magic system so expanded out. the ability to just take that magic system now and plug it into all these other different classes. Oh yeah. I know you cartellers are Inuit style songkeepers. Maybe I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know what all that. I'm Oklahoman and Irish. Oh, an oral story keeper. Yeah. But I mean they're pretty focused in, at least flavor wise, on like the written or drawn word, right? Craig. Currently you, Ross, Heavy, Benjamin, Kibbles, and Lumber are the only people I trust to do homebrew, but really hope more people can get into it. Well, part of why I started the channel was trying to, I got really into homebrew, but I don't think I got to be like what I consider to be like professional level. Probably until after I had really met and talked with Benjamin and Ross. Once I got into contact with those guys, then it was like I paid them to do some consulting work on the merchant as I did like a revision of it. And then from there, it was like I learned a whole lot in the span of like 4 months of talking with those guys. But there's also been developments like the merchant was, or sorry, the dancer was like a whole study in action economy. Like how much can we, like, whenever I'm designing, I'm also trying to figure out a way to give you features that allow you to break some of the rules of the game, but in a way that doesn't break the game, you know? I think that's like the exciting stuff, right? Like in the Alchemist, we're talking about subverting the rules for crafting magic items. So like, what can we do to do that without breaking the game, whatever. So, it's not the kind of thing that like you're either born with it or whatever. It is very much a skill that you can learn. And I think my D&D content shifted away from doing reviews over into how do you make your own content, more so in the last 2 years than, oh god, how do I put it? Like, I had a way of looking at the game that I think people kind of understood that whenever I was reviewing it, whatever. But like, I think I just started to get more onto like creating, how do you create your own stuff rather than like, how do you look at the game as a designer? It felt like so yeah, you, Benjamin, and Ross are the big three. Oh, well, I mean, Jesus, thank you. Like, I mean, there's plenty of great class designers out there. Like, I mean, Walrock. I think Walrock is a person who's like very, very much like kind of, I mean, I feel like Ross to me right now is the guy who is able to find Ross is able to find, Ross knows this game in and out in a way like nobody else I've ever seen. Ross is the kind of guy that if I'm like, I need somebody to destroy something for me and find every flaw before the internet does, I'll send it to Ross. Ross is able to break down mathematics and think of things in 100 different ways that my brain just doesn't allow me to, Benjamin is an incredibly strong narrative designer. He was the guy that like, I think made us, like, he was the guy that I think set my precedent for like, yeah, what a good ribbon feature is, that how do you define something's downtime activity or downtime identity rather. You don't design many classes because the talent is there. There's plenty of room for more. I do think that like there are people who can definitely do class design that just like, how do I put it? like to me it kind of depends on where you're kind of getting raised up. How do I get Russ to shotgun my work? You usually sponsor him over on Patreon at the specific tier, or reach out to him about possibly commissioning him. Very much worth it if you're considering doing professional level work. To have a guy like Ross, Benjamin, or I, like, take a shot at it. So, yeah, you pay Ross money. Finding a good community is a big part of it. I know I keep plugging my Discord, but like, I'm trying to make the kind of community that does support like growing as designers, because I think it would be really cool if there were other people that got to do the thing of like, oh man, where am I going to eat? Oh yeah, that's right, I got some money over on the DM's Guild that I can pull out, whatever. Plus, I just love, this is just such a fun thing for me. Like, I mean, yeah, it's work, but it's the most fun I think I've ever had at work, Six skills streamline. Oh, speaking of which, do I know where I'm gonna do that critic stream? The what? Oh, critique stream. Oh, okay. I gotcha. I don't know. I mean, sometime I'm sure within the next month. I do plan on doing another round of like another critique stream where people just submit stuff and I kind of give my opinion on it. Yeah, that is a thing I do intend on doing. It's just, I don't know when. I've got lots of plans to make stuff happen. It's just when. When is always the problem. As someone who's very early into homebrew, it's so damn fun. Yeah, I just, it's one thing, like, you make a thing, right? And then whenever someone plays your thing and you feel that, like, oh, yeah, they, the thing I made evoked the feeling of fun. Yes, like, yeah. Okay. So, Jesus. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it sounds like there's a tree that's about to just like roll through my window right now. Five designer at Mocha Street. Best homebrew you ever did was to just the TM screen have all rules visible. That was in the 90s. The only time I'm really playing with the DM screen right now is if I'm trying to hide minis. Like, yeah. MS Word is significantly different than InDesign, yes. Microsoft Word is just a word processor. This is a layout. This is layout software. Morning, Tyler. How's it going? So this needs to require your action. Must have. Okay. How am I doing? We're doing pretty good. I feel like there was a big moment of figuring out how this whole thing is supposed to turn out. Oh, the cook prestige class is one that I want to. I use parts of it for the merchant, but it's something that like I was just trying to figure out if it could really work. But yeah, it's not the kind of thing that I think me today would have likely created in the same way. I think that's a pretty good example of like pretty early in 5e Taron design, you know. Yeah. Listen, how much you? Oh, geez, pay to win, literally. Uh, you're working on a full book before you take it to InDesign. That's usually a really good policy, unless you are like a layout artist that's equipped to, you know, deal with writing in InDesign. Yeah. Do I ever commission art or do I use free art? I commission art more often than not, and I currently have an artist that I am very, very happy working with. Extremely professional. Just we have had I love Maxwell's style. So this is Maxwell Polycob's art. I commissioned this like last month and he got it to me in like 3 weeks. It was, yeah, insanely quick turnaround. And then this I made myself. All the glyphs and all the typography. Well, if you see custom typography in here, that is more than just a font. You know, I'll find fonts and purchase them or whatever. But like I'll do the typography treatment at least, you know. Layout work and everything is all me. So yeah. Yeah, cooking and all that stuff is typically the kind of thing that you have to build around short or long rests, just for the narrative to really work out. Cooking Alchemist skills Walter White. Okay. Now I'm just trying to think here. Must have the components for the item in hand, as well as either your alchemist supplies or an empty flask. I guess with this feature, yeah. Alchemical items created this way are made swiftly, lacking the stability of those crafted with care in a controlled environment. Any alchemical item you create using the concoct action, using, I guess, this action, becomes inert at the end of your next turn. Okay, so I'm curious how, what this inert state means in like Pathfinder. What have they called it over there? Advance in power dramatically, leave behind those that understand shared science. Okay, let's just pull this down. God, this website is nasty looking. Just wow, this is a migraine. Yeah, I don't agree with this narrative in this. Yeah, it's the TUI version. I'm just trying to see what they call the, like, you use the thing, and then, but it remains potent only until the start of your next turn. Okay. Level or lower. Spend the normal monetary cost in alchemical reagents, or, geez, without having to spend the, okay. Yeah, no, this is a horrific looking website. And like just really bad use of oh god, what is this? Century Gothic? No, it's not Century Gothic. What is this? What is that damn font? It's the one that Weezer uses on all their covers. Or it's like the Weezer logo. It's not. Is it Century? It is Century Gothic. Okay, yeah. Jeez. God, I used to think that that font was so cool, and it is an eyesore. Oh. It's like, man, how many, like, sans... What's a Weezer? The fact that you capitalized it is... Jesus. Oh, God. Wait, why... Oh, God, why does it flicker? No. Oh, my God. Okay. Okay. Look at Font Strahd user's first website. A coffer. Okay, so you have to know the yeah. I mean that all makes sense, right? You make an alchemical item. You know how to create alchemical formulas have been a thing in 5e. Well, at least magic item formulas. So like yeah. You must know. Yeah, that's bam. Okay. The memes that can arise from making potions. Like. Okay. Like drugs. Yeah. Oh, no kidding. Oh, that might mean.
From who was it? Psycho or something?
Yes, Krieg the Psycho. Thank you so much.
You.
I think with that, I'm gonna take like an hour, just kind of. It's 2 o'clock here. Plus, I think you're going to Gathering Place, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with some people.
So I'm gonna take about an hour, maybe hour or two off, but I'll be back later on. Yeah, thank you so much, dude. Really. I'm going to, we're going to come back in on this because I've got a lot of ideas going on with this. So, yes, I will be back. But I'm going to take a quick break and just kind of eat. You guys, go get food, all the stuff you need to do. Yeah, hang out. anyways,
Thank you, we will.
join up with the Discord if you haven't already. If you're interested in doing design work, all that stuff, yes. Also, big thank you to Mini Worlds Tavern for all like partnering with the channel and all that stuff. Love your coffee. You guys are great. Go over to their website, use code Indestructible on checkout, and I get a small little kickback over here on the channel. Yeah. Otherwise, see you guys here in just a little while. I'm gonna go eat and catch up with you on Stranger Things, actually.
Yes, yes.
So, all right, everyone. See you in a little while.